Your energy art reading for the 1st until the 7th of July. My name's Vicky Paul, and I'm an intuitive and an artist, and I use art to channel energy for clarity, guidance, growth, and wisdom. And I explore different symbols that come through to me each week, and we discuss what the energy means to you. So let's crack on. The first symbol that I got through for the first week in July was that of a trident. Now, a trident is all about power and strength and sort of authority and control. So this energy in the first week of July is all about exploring what does that mean for you? Are you needing to let go of control? Does something have control over you that you need to let go of? And also there could be some sort of power struggles with authority figures this week. And again, that could be in your personal life or your professional life. I always say these are general readings, so please do take what resonates. But the other thing with the trident energy is that it also represents and symbolizes the sort of Holy Trinity, the past, the present, and the future. And it could well be that for some of you, in addition to there being some challenges around authority, you could also be questioning and looking at the past, looking where you are in the present, and actually exploring where you want to be in the future. And this has come up in previous readings about really looking to our sense of identity, where we are, what we want, what we desire, and how we can manifest that and make that into our reality and our future reality. So this is just another reminder that your past, your present, and your future, they are all linked. What worked in your past, what didn't, what is working in the present, what doesn't, and what do you bring forward into the future? And this is about letting go of the past and letting go of aspects of the past that no longer serve you and that are no longer working for you or are no longer part of your vision for your future. And I want to say with this that in addition to there being some power struggles with authority, I also feel that there's a lot of strength coming through this week. So if you do feel that you need to have a sort of tricky or a challenging conversation with somebody in authority at work, for example, you're going to get the strength through the trident energy to have that conversation. The second image that came through was a yew tree. And yew trees are about endings. They are about the death of something, and they're also about resurrection. And what is interesting with this is when I kind of tune in for this, you'll notice that it's quite an obvious triangle. And, you know, the triangle that points upwards from a spiritual perspective in my belief system is that this is pointing towards heaven, towards your spiritual, towards your sort of ethereal energy. If it was popped the other way down, this would be the material and pointing towards the ground. So I feel that there is a lot of spiritual cleansing and spiritual clearing happening for some of you this week. And this is all about, putting an end to things. And this could be patterns of behavior also tied in with the trident energy, that things are no longer working from your past, your present. And it's about finally letting them go, finally sort of seeing them move out of your life in a positive way. And I feel because this is a yew tree in its nature, I'm sure they used to burn the sort of branches of yew trees to contact spirits of loved ones that had passed on. And I feel that this is very much about the sort of energies that you are letting go are connected to people, whether they're ancestors in a past lifetime or they're sort of relatives in this lifetime. There seems to be some kind of familial connection there. And certainly with people within your family sphere that have passed away and are no longer with us, sort of in the material, the physical realm. So I feel that this yew tree and these endings, there's some kind of emotional connection with family members or loved ones that I feel it's kind of like that tie needs to finally be cut and let go of to enable you to move forward and actually look to the future and call in what it is that you want and actually own it, stamp your authority on it. Yeah, just when I was talking about that, I just had this image of, and I think it was Poseidon, you know, and they just kind of stamped the trident down on the ground, and it was like, just that is it. This is what I want. This is who I want to be, and you're making it happen. And interestingly, I dropped the paper there, so that is very much about what that's all about. The next energy that I received and the image came through was that of, now this is like a wicker man or a burning man. And I got both wicker man and burning man as sort of images and the words that came into my head. And the wicker man was, you know, in kind of tradition, Celtic Druid history, they would create a straw figure to sacrifice to the gods so that they could sort of bring in good fortune. And I feel that this is related to you in terms of what are you prepared to sacrifice? And again, what are you prepared to let go of to bring in all that good fortune for your future self? And it's also, when you think of Burning Man and the sort of Burning Man festival in America, that's really a massive celebration of life. So I feel, and fire is a very cleansing energy. And what was interesting when I channeled the symbols, which I do just before I actually record the reading, before I was able to sort of get everything set up and record the reading, I had to clean my desk space and clean around the office. So there's definitely this kind of cleansing energy taking place with this fire energy. So the sort of fire is also associated with ritual. And I feel that some of you will start to bring in some rituals into your day-to-day, week-by-week practice. And this could be anything from a daily meditation to something a bit more in-depth where you would sort of use spells and that kind of thing. So it's, again, take what resonates. But I do feel in order to pull in this sort of powerful future for yourself, it's going to be really important to start to introduce healthy rituals into your life that give you that sense of anchoring. And actually, when I kind of turn that upside down, it feels that this is kind of stable. This is a stable position and there's this kind of anchor. And I feel that rituals will be really important for you in terms of anchoring you into yourself so that you can then empower yourself to bring through and reconnect with that energy of what it is that you're here to do and who you want to be in your future self. The next energy or image that I got was of a flag. Now, I don't know of any flags that are yellow with a kind of red cross through the middle. But when I looked at it, I have a sense that the Swedish flag is red and yellow, but I think the cross is the other way. And I don't even know if it's a centre cross. But anyway, so I'm sharing that with you in case Sweden makes any sense or Scandinavia makes sense to you when you're watching or listening to this on the podcast. But yes, certainly with the yellow, what I feel called to with this is when we look at the color, yellow is the color of the solar plexus, and that's all about your identity. And then the red, the cross is, the red rather, is associated with your root chakra, which is all about what makes you feel safe, what makes you feel secure. And I feel that your identity with this particular image, and I'm taking the colors feel more prominent to me in this sort of energy, is that for you to really feel and own and understand who you are and from an identity point of view, it's going to be really important for you to explore what it is that makes you feel safe, what it is that makes you feel secure, who makes you feel safe and secure, and really bringing that into your life in a more positive and profound way to enable you to that sort of own your identity. I mean, we all have different masks that we wear, and our sense of self is fluid. But I feel you'll notice this kind of fairly solid color when I did this. I feel that for some of you, you're really beginning to step into who you are and kind of own that in quite a powerful way, whether people agree with it or not. I then got the image of the starfish, and again, another yellow, and the orange, incidentally, is about the sacral chakra, which is our sort of sense of sexuality, our creativity, our receiving area. But the starfish is about renewal. It is about healing, and it's also a reminder that your ability to heal lies within you, and oftentimes when we feel that we need to sort of fix or heal ourselves, there's a strong tendency to explore externally for that. I mean, even the sort of systems of, you know, when you don't feel well, you go to the doctor, or rather than just sort of sensing within yourself, where are the imbalances in my body? And I want to say that this is about, instead of seeking external understanding for that internal healing process, this is a real sign to bring it back internally, bring it back inwards. And interesting that there's a bit of water in this reading. We've obviously got the trident energy and the starfish, obviously starfish under the sea. And I feel that water, as you know, if you regularly watch these readings, really is a symbol for emotion for me. So I feel that there's going to be a lot of emotion tied up in both of these energies. And this starfish is also a reminder to listen to your inner voice. Listen to your inner voice, because you have all the wisdom inside you. And when you step into and own your identity and own your sense of self, you then start to pay less attention to other people's thoughts and processes, and there's less tendency to sort of follow the pack, and more tendency to feel into what feels right for you and just own that, and behave in a manner that is more akin to that. I then got the image, and this is kind of difficult to see, but I got the image of a snowball. Obviously difficult to see the white oil pastel on the white paper. And you can maybe just pick up gently there, this movement. And I had this image in my head of a snowball being thrown, but then as soon as a snowball's being thrown, a snowball fight is good fun. Excuse me, I have the window open because it's quite warm, so there's a motorbike going past if you can hear something. Snowball fights are good fun, and there's a lot of kind of playful activity around that. When you're kids, you used to love going out into the snow, if that was available to you where you lived, and you'd sort of throw snowballs at each other, and it was all good fun. I feel that this is also a call from an energetic perspective to bring more fun and more playful energy into your life. But I also got, when I sort of drew this and the energies come through, it feels, the expression that things just snowball. I feel that some of you are going to be starting or have started something. And this week, the 1st of July, it's just going to start to snowball. And when you push a ball over snow and you're building a snowman, you start off with a tiny ball, and every time you roll it, the snow packs on and it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger until almost you can't push it any further. I kind of feel that for some of you, this is what's going to happen. You're just going to keep pushing and pushing and pushing until you can't push any further. So again, take what resonates with both of these energies. So all about being a bit more playful. Something is going to snowball for you this week. So that it's just going to start, the ball is going to start rolling. So you've started, it's like the sort of pea of a little idea, and then it's just going to start to snowball and get bigger and bigger. But then for some of you, you're on that journey and it feels like it's just going to be pushing and pushing and pushing, and it's going to come to a bit of a halt this week. I then got the energy of a box, and I drew a cardboard box, but as soon as I drew the box, I had this image of sort of light shining out the box and then all this kind of treasure inside it. And I just had this image of when you find a treasure chest, and you always see it in the movies, when they open it up, it's like, oh, all this light from the gold that's inside the treasure chest. I feel, boxes are something that we either put ourselves in or we don't like to be put in a box. We also store things in there. So I feel that for me, when I tune into this energy, this is about all of the stuff that you've stored away emotionally, because there's water energy running through this reading with the trident and the starfish. All of that sort of emotional stuff that you've put into a box and kind of forgotten about or packed away and put to the side, proverbially. I feel this week is going to be a really healing week for you to open that, and actually you're going to find a lot of treasure in there. And a lot of us tend to put our emotions sort of under the carpet or in a box because we don't feel comfortable, or we're not ready, or there's a sort of tentative or anxiety or fear around processing the emotions. I feel for some of you, this is actually going to be a real treasure trove of memories that are going to come out related to this trident energy of the past, the present, and the future, but also about tapping into and releasing and renewing from the Burning Man energy all this treasure that's inside you that you really aren't accessing. Because when we look at lessons and challenges, and it's always a hard thing to hear if you're going through a difficult time, and people, who are out the other side, they're like, well, that's how you grow, and that's how you evolve, and that's how you understand who you are and the strengths that you have. But the reality is that's true. And I feel if you just have the courage and use some of this trident energy, some of the strength and power here to explore what's going on emotionally for you in this box that you've put away for however long, you're going to find a lot of treasure in there. The next energy I got was an old oil lantern. So I feel that this is really about lighting the way. And because it's an old oil lantern rather than a torch or a candle or your phone with the torch on your phone, there's definitely something relating to either older energy, older people, or past time that's gone by. So this is something that's going to be lit up and could in actual fact be tied in with this energy here. So something's going to light up for you in the past. Something in the past is just going to light up for you this week. The next energy that I received was the image of a cove. Now, interestingly, I feel this is really tied in with the treasure, because I didn't get cave. I got this sort of cove, and there was this image of sort of sea and the cliffs, and then this cove in the land, and it almost felt like the treasure was tied into that. And I feel, a cove is where pirates, for example, used to hide, or rather than a cave. And I feel that this, because it's and a cave has come up in the past in these readings, but I feel the cove and the fact that there's water involved in this is really about what emotions are you hiding from? What emotions are you hiding from? And you'll notice that there's kind of quite a lot of coastal erosion with this, and that it's darker the further sort of inland you go. So I feel that there's a lot of exploration to be done for some of you this week. But you will notice that it's a really green grass. The cliffs are bright and the sea is beautiful and blue. So whilst there is kind of dark colors in here, I feel that actually there's a lot of brightness and there's a lot of support and a lot of positive energy around you this week. If you are, feeling sort of you're hiding away from these emotions. And I want to say that this really does feel tied in to this treasure chest. And if you are brave enough to go exploring for it, you will find the treasure. You'll find the treasure. So that was the sort of symbols and the drawings that came through for this week. However, I did get a few words coming through, and I'm just going to hold them up for you. So I got distraction, delay, thoughts become things, hate, and healing. And for me, when I was pulling the reading together, I was kind of getting distracted and delaying doing things. And part of that was the tidying up. And then I was moving things about the desk, and I was filing my nails and, doing all manner of stuff to sort of almost delay what I was doing. So I feel that for some of you, there's going to be a wee bit of delaying energy. You're sort of putting things off. Try not do that. I'm saying that just to make you aware of it. So if you find yourself sort of distracting yourself from getting on with the task in hand, or doing these jobs, or having the conversation, or whatever it is, or digging into that treasure trove, just to be aware that there's a bit of that energy around. So take charge. Use some of this trident energy and take charge. Thoughts become things. So I really feel, this is a very obvious statement, and particularly if you are into energy work and manifestation and abundance and that kind of thing. But it's just obviously a reminder for some of you, and I definitely feel it's related to the healing, because you'll notice I've written them in green, both these things. So a lot of us at various times in our life, not always, but we don't speak nicely to ourselves in our heads, and oftentimes wouldn't speak to our loved ones the way that we speak to ourselves. So this is just a gentle reminder for some of you to stop being so punishing for yourself, stop saying such sort of horrible things about yourself, and just to have a bit more love for yourself and in the way that you speak and the thoughts that you have. Because if you think negatively and sort of put yourself down, you're going to manifest that into your existence, either by how you feel or by inviting in people and situations that are going to mirror that back to you. I then got the word hate, and that's such a strong word. And I wasn't going to put it down, but I thought, no, I've got to put it down. And I feel this is tied up a lot with the energy, and this is much more of a global energy. It feels that there's a lot of sort of hatred and just this sort of negative distrust, dislike for life, for people, for situations. And you can see it through politics and things that are going on from the war. So I feel that this has a lot to do with that. And because it came after thoughts become things, I feel oftentimes when there's so much going on globally, it can feel really overwhelming. And as an individual, you think to yourself, what can I actually do to affect change? You can, by just changing your thoughts to more positive and loving and kind and healing thoughts. That energy transmutes in you, and then it is filtered out into the universe. So I feel, start with yourself first. And the more people that do that, and the more that energy filters around the globe, then that's how we are going to start to challenge that kind of negative, hateful energy. And then I got the word healing. And it feels that this week, there's going to be some obvious healing taking place for some of you, also collectively, globally. So yes, that is the reading for the first week of July. It's been a bit of a double dunt with 2 readings. If you haven't already seen, I've put out the full month of July. It's also online now, so do check out that video. And of course, if you have any comments, please do share them. I love to hear from you. And yeah, thank you so much for supporting me. Please remember to subscribe to the channel. I would really appreciate if you would share it with anyone that you feel would enjoy it or would benefit from it. It's a fairly new channel, and this is something that I love doing. I love using art to connect energetically, and these are basic symbols, and this is sort of the one end of the spectrum that I do, taken all the way to the other end of the spectrum to do sort of abstract art, but it's just, there's lots of different layers to it. So I really appreciate everybody for letting me know how much you're enjoying the readings and how much they are connecting. And I will be sharing next week's reading on Saturday, the 6th of July. So have a great week.